In a move that is not surprising to anyone, something that has been rumbling for a while has finally been confirmed. We don't know much, but what we do know is that in 2026, Daniel Suarez will find a new home, as had been announced earlier today that him and Trackhouse Racing have parted ways at the end of the 2025 season. And like I said, this was something that is very disappointing because Daniel Suarez is a fan favorite. I am a favorite of Daniel Suarez myself, but based on his performance, is it a surprise? No. We're going to get into a lot of things. We're going to unpack this. Why they made the decision, the timing of the decision, what's the replacement for the 99 ride, and what's the future for Daniel Suarez himself. So let's get into the announcement itself with Suarez leaving Trackhouse. Like I said, it's not shocking, but it's disappointing considering the ride that both Trackhouse and Daniel Suarez was on together. When Daniel Suarez in 2016 won that Xfinity Series title, was on top of the world, the first international champion in NASCAR, period. About a month later, bam, guess that shocking call? He's going up to Cup. And it never felt that Daniel Suarez had a grasp on things. And he never felt, I don't want to use the word safe or comfortable, but just never, he always felt like that fourth guy or that one that's just on the outside looking in. When he was at Joe Gibbs Racing in 2017 and 2018, he just never looked like he fit anywhere in that team. And I believe he was rushed there, got booted out. Then was in the 41 car with Daniel Suarez, and there was a disagreement. Stewart wanted Suarez at Suarez Racing, but Gene Haas wanted Cole Custer. So Suarez was able to stay in that 41 ride, but only for 1 year. He wasn't horrible by any means, but again, didn't live up to the expectations compared to his teammates, and after a season, he was booted out. But going to Trackhouse, a brand new team created by Justin Marks, who had only been viewed by many NASCAR fans, only hardcore NASCAR fans, I should remind you, as just a guy that had that one win at Mid-Ohio and was probably known for a wreck in Dover that he had in the Xfinity Series, and that was probably it. And here he is starting a Cup team. And when Suarez and people were saying that, oh, this is the best opportunity he has, many people called him crazy for saying that statement, but 5 years later, they have won 2 Cup races with Suarez, many more with Ross Chastain. SVG has now 2 victories under their belts. And it really felt that in 2021, this was Daniel's team. Like, all right, he is set. Then you throw in Pitbull on top of things. All right, this is his team, straight to the moon. But then in 2022, Ross Chastain takes over and has an incredible 2022 season, wins, 3 or so races, makes it to the championship 4, and continues to improve and improve and improve. Daniel Suarez himself also improved. Won in 2022 his first Cup Series race at Sonoma. Then in 2024, won that 3-wide thrilling finish at Atlanta. But it always felt that from 2023 onwards, we started to see Suarez start to decline, just ever so slightly. And it really took a hit in 2025. He's on pace to have this be his worst season in the next gen era. Not as bad as Trackhouse's first season in 2021, but he's not getting better by any means. And as we got into 2025, once again, I felt that Daniel Suarez was the outsider of the team. When you look at technically, Trackhouse has 4 drivers for 3 cars, but there's something different with every one of those drivers. You look at Ross Chastain, he's a guy that he can just make anything work. Pull up that unreal Coke 600 win, starting last, drove his way up to first, stole the lead, or should I say stole it, but he grabbed it with full force from William Byron to take that checker flag in the Coca-Cola 600. A marquee event, a crown jewel, the first ever for Trackhouse. You then throw in Shane Van Gisbergen, who is a specialist on road courses. Doesn't matter where you put him in, anytime he's on a road course, he's able to make wonders happen. In his very first Cup race ever, wins on the streets of Chicago, becomes a rookie full-time, wins in Mexico. So he's able to lock himself into the playoffs, at least be 16th or better. You have that. You have the raw talent of a Ross Chastain, the specialty mechanics of a driver in a Shane Van Gisbergen. And then you look at the driver waiting in the wings in Connor Zilisch, 18, 19 years old, one of the hottest new drivers in NASCAR, the future of the sport. Many have their eyes on Connor Zilisch. But then you look at Daniel Suarez, and very likable guy. Again, I like Daniel Suarez. A lot of people love Daniel Suarez, but there's nothing much you can really say about him. There's not like a track or something we can point to, be like, that's a guy that Daniel Suarez will always be a threat. You don't get that with him. You get that with SVG on the road courses. You get that with Ross Chastain. Just give him a good enough car and he can make it work. Connor Zilisch, the guy waiting in the wings, ready to become a star in NASCAR in the future. but nothing with Daniel. And it always felt that, especially heading into 2025, that Daniel was under the most amount of pressure. He needed to perform, and if not, he wasn't going to stay for much longer. I mean, hell, that's why it took so long just to get a 1-year contract near the end of the 2024 campaign. It took a while for them to get a deal done. It was only 1 year. So you knew that, hey, Daniel Suarez has to perform. And as we got to the middle portion of the season, to the summer months of the campaign, the results weren't there. There were some bright spots with this 99 team. I mean, I think they could finish second in Las Vegas. There were some bright spots, but there wasn't really anything there. And it's not like they didn't try. I mean, they switched teams. They switched crew chiefs. They tried to do a lot to help Daniel Suarez. Now, I do think that heading into the 2025 season, with the departure of some big names, Ty Norris, who left Trackhouse Racing to go to Colleague, and we have seen a flip. We've seen Trackhouse start of the season really, really badly. They've started to improve a little bit better, but they have not been where they were 2-3 years ago. And we started to see Colleague Racing with Ty Norris there at the helm. They're starting to improve a lot better, especially with AJ Allmendinger in the 16 ride. You then factor in Pitbull leaving Trackhouse as a part-time owner. And I don't want to say that Pitbull is the reason why Daniel Suarez is still here, but I do think it helped. It helped with in terms of the security with Daniel Suarez. And with Pitbull gone, Daniel, in my eyes, I don't think had that security. Now, what's interesting about this is the timing of this. Usually, we always get these announcements of a driver leaving a team near the end of the campaign. I want to say maybe early fall, right around there. If you want to use an example, or at least a race date, probably the end of July, beginning of August, around there. But here we just got into the middle portion of the season, just ended June, and already announced parted ways. And if you listen to Daniel Suarez's comments on the Dale Jr. Download, saying on how everything is up in the air at the moment, just the tone and how he was describing his situation at Trackhouse, the writing was on the wall. So this, I feel like even though we're just getting this announcement now, this is probably something that had been done a couple weeks prior to that. It would not shock me one bit that we're just now getting this, but this is something that had been confirmed a couple weeks prior. The question though is, why now? Why now? Why not maybe later in the fall, where we usually get these announcements of a driver leaving or being replaced? Why now? I think it has to do with the fact that I think the writing is on the wall that Connor Zilisch is going to replace Daniel Suarez. Unless something big happens, I think all direction points to that moment. I think the reason why is I think Trackhouse is feeling some heat, feeling some pressure from 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. On his podcast, Never Settle with Marty Smith, Marty Smith was asked him a question about some of the biggest names, the hot prospects in NASCAR today. And we know that with Legacy Motor Club, Johnson's team trying to get a third charter from Wickware Racing, that's where this lawsuit is coming from, they're trying to get a third charter. And Jimmy Johnson name drops some hot prospects, including Connor Zilisch and Jesse Love. So I think, maybe, just speculating, that because of those comments, maybe Trackhouse started to feel some heat. They'd probably be like, hey, whoa, hold on. Other people are looking at him. We got to make sure we keep this guy. We cannot let anybody take him away from us. Let's get him. Let's make the move now. That would not surprise me one bit. Now, let's play hypothetical for a moment and let's lean into that. Let's say Connor Zilisch, 2026 99 ride in the Cup Series. Is this the right move? The thing is with Connor Zilisch, look how he's performing the Xfinity Series. He's doing an unbelievable job, and how he is super fast, and he's now, I feel like, starting to learn how to finish races. He has still shown us that he is 19 years old, and sometimes he does dumb things, but he is a rookie. It makes sense. He's young. He's going to do these things, but he will learn over time, and he is super, super quick. He brings in a lot of sponsorship help with Red Bull, being a Red Bull athlete. And again, I mentioned with these other drivers of the Chastain and the Shane Van Gisbergens of the world at Trackhouse, there is something to them. There is something to Connor Zilisch. Again, like SVG, he is a road course specialist. So you could look at these races. You look at Watkins Glen. You look at Sonoma, Chicago coming up this week. We just came from Mexico City, COTA. You look at those road courses and you can pinpoint, all right, SVG is going to perform here, but also Connor Zilisch can perform there and win possibly as a rookie. It is not, I don't think, out of the question. I don't think it's a wild thing to say that Connor Zilisch could possibly win as a rookie next year, especially if he's in the Cup Series full-time next year on one of these road courses. That is not a bizarre thing to say. And so I think because of that, that is something I think Trackhouse is looking at. They're looking at drivers that you can bank on. You can bank on Chastain. Give him a good enough car, we'll make it work. You can bank on the road courses. Give SVG a little bit, and he'll take a lot. And same thing with Connor Zilisch. But you can't say the same thing with Daniel. You cannot look at a track or look at something and pinpoint him as, all right, we can bank on this guy getting the job done. You cannot do that, unfortunately, with Daniel. So now the question is, all right, so we talked about the announcement. We talked about the 99 replacement, possibly. Let's talk about Daniel himself. Where does he go from here? He's 33 years old. And I immediately thought of a situation with John Hunter Nemechek. If y'all remember, John Hunter Nemechek was in the Cup Series originally, I believe in 2020 or 2021, around that era, with Front Row Motorsports. And he purposefully left FRM to go back to trucks with Kyle Busch Motorsports and Toyota. Moved up to Joe Gibbs Racing in the 20 car in the Xfinity Series, and now is at Legacy. And so immediately that came to my mind, as Daniel Suarez is a huge plus for NASCAR, is a plus for the Cup Series. So immediately my mind thought to, how could Daniel get back to the Cup Series? But when you consider his age at 33 years old, he doesn't have that window of frame like what John Hunter Nemechek has, as John Hunter Nemechek was in his mid-20s when he made the decision. Suarez in his mid-30s. You could possibly look at Legacy if they, let's say, get a third charter. You could possibly look at that and maybe pinpoint Daniel Suarez in that direction. But if we want to be certain, I think Daniel Suarez's direction likely leads him back to the Xfinity Series with the car he just won in, Junior Motorsports. If you want to think about it, it's a simple driver swap. If Connor Zilisch, let's say, goes to Trackhouse and replaces Suarez in the 99 ride, that 88 ride is up for grabs in Xfinity. And it would be no minus. It would just be a plus for Junior Motorsports to have a veteran driver, another veteran driver in Daniel Suarez, a champion in Daniel Suarez, because now they will have two former champions at their stable of veteran talent. It's going to do nothing but good things for Junior Motorsports. And we know that Daniel Suarez, he can win. I think Daniel Suarez is a really good race car driver, a really good NASCAR driver. However, I think that maybe his box is for Xfinity. I just don't see it in Cup. Granted, his Cup Series career had never been stable until he went to Trackhouse. I don't believe he was given the right amount of time and care at Joe Gibbs. I don't believe he was given the right amount of time and care at Stuart Haas. Trackhouse was the only team that, in my opinion, really cared about Daniel. For 5 years, they put their money all into Daniel. But when Ross Chastain came into the picture and outshined Suarez greatly from 2022 onwards, that light started to shine less on Daniel as the years go by and started to put more of an emphasis on Ross. And I'm speaking from an outside perspective. If you are a team owner and you see Daniel Suarez's career, Joe Gibbs wasn't able to perform, Stuart Haas wasn't able to perform, and now Trackhouse was not able to perform. It does not look good in the eyes of a team owner if you want Daniel Suarez to stay in the Cup Series. It's not a good look. All right, I'm just trying to be realistic about the chances of Suarez staying in the Cup Series. In all honesty, I think it's best that if Daniel Suarez goes back to Xfinity and probably could be like what we see with Justin Allgaier and be that Xfinity Series regular. I mean, we do need more of that. It only helps the Xfinity Series. Obviously, it's not something that Daniel Suarez would like, but if you look at his career path, specifically the age he is, I think that's his best option right now. But what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section down below on where do you think Daniel Suarez could go in 2026? Who could replace him in that 99 ride? And do you think Trackhouse made the right decision or not? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jet from MBK. Thanks for watching.